Good evening, everyone. This is the entertainment portion of the awards. Okay. It was a difficult to beat Donald, professional speaker. So I'll try to do my best. Okay. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, fellow YMMA, to my Mansmith family. Good evening. I'm standing here feeling proud to share with you an introduction to one of the best leaders I know. And you can ask all the people, all the URC ex-alumni. This is my opening disclaimer. What I'm going to say now is only from what I see and what I have experienced. And it will not be fair if I will introduce one great person on my point of view. So what I did was try to get a little bit of crowdsourcing, asking all our ex-URC alumni, and get a feel of how do you introduce E.T. I'm sure he has inspired all the people who has worked closely with him with a different story to share. As I always tell my office mates and former teammates, E.T. will probably be the most influential marketing mentor in my career. BBE, according to the millennials. Best boss ever. Okay. I met Edwin Totanes, E.T., in 2003, so it's roughly 14 years ago. I researched about his background and feedback from former colleagues. Oh, ex-Coke. And good news, it was all positive. Okay. I'm happy to hear that there were really no terror incidents during your stint. And sorry for the Unilever guys. He always tells his story about PNG, your experience, and how he always managed a difficult boss. He will always tell me that there was one time that your boss was writing upside down and pointing out how difficult or how your marketing plan needs improvement. I actually practiced it already. I can write upside down because it's more relevant to my surname because I'm cruel. So I can actually do it. Okay. E.T.'s positive energy is very contagious. Just like a virus, his positive energy cuts across organizational culture. In a mentorship relationship, you can really tell it's a mentor who chooses the mentee, or is it the other way around? Nonetheless, I consider myself very lucky that my path crossed with E.T. E.T. is a very inspiring person, and what great about inspiring leaders is that they inspire you to be better. E.T. knows which buttons to push that will unlock your limitations, and that he will be here to guide you and push you to become a better person. So he's actually the human form of Kaizen. Okay. In 20 years of my career, I watched a lot of high-flying marketing executives in the industry, having different leadership styles. And what I really appreciate about E.T., just like what Donald mentioned, okay, hindi ka matatakot sa kanya. Mahihiya kang sumabit. Okay? Yon. And he doesn't need to be feared and respected, and he's always valued. Never have I feared or daunted to be in the meeting with him. E.T. is cool and compassionate. C2. But most of all, he is loved by the people around him. There was really a comparison before when E.T. came in URC. Yung isa is management by fear, and he was management by love. So, okay. The leadership style is what I emulate, and I also try to be natural mentor he has always been. But the key difference between us, I'm very hands-on. Sa females lang. Just kidding, just kidding. Okay. More than any help has given to advance in my career, I believe the most important contribution is how E.T. helped me develop my character. As a leader and as a follower. Because watching him mentor me, I learned that good leaders develop future leaders. Of course, just like what happened to Donald, tough choice had to happen. So I actually moved to another company at that time when we were together in URC. But same scenario, E.T. supported my decision, and exact words, bata ka pa. Go for it. And after our work relationship ended, we continued to be good friends. And in fact, he remains to be a good career guidance counselor. So from time to time, I check and my position now. As I close my story about E.T., I just want to share this one great marketing lesson that I got from him. And this was all mentioned by all the speakers also. Company success is driven by people. I learned from him that a good marketing practitioner will be able to drive the entire organization to support the marketing objective. And I witnessed him do that in URC. So how did E.T. do it? It's through his situational leadership style that allows a person to grow and develop as an individual with definitely enjoying what you do and making life really fun for the mentees. Thank you, E.T., for helping me and for guiding me and for really developing people. And as you know, until now, I get people from our group. Okay. And before I end, I want to show this short video just like Donald. Ito, medyo 1 week ko ginawa. Ikaw, 2 hours. So, can you play the video, please?
Saan nagmumula itong liwanag? Hindi nagdidilim sa buong magdamag.
Sa kislap ng ilaw na iyong dala, lahat ng araw gumaganda. Taas baba kanan kaliwa, saan ka man magpunta, liwanag ang iyong dala.
Di nangingiti mo ako, ikaw ang sunshine ko. Di nangingiti mo ako, ikaw ang sunshine ko. Ikaw ang sunshine ko. Ikaw ang sunshine ko. Ikaw ang sunshine ko. Itong liwanag sa mukha mo nababakas, itong sinag sa puso mo lumalabas. Saan ka man magpunta, lahat nakaabang, kaya smile ka lang, smile ka lang.
Taas baba kanan kaliwa, saan ka man magpunta, liwanag ang iyong dala.
Good evening. There is something very unique about this Market Masters Awards, though perhaps not quite like the Hollywood's Lifetime Achievement Award or Sports Hall of Fame. The MMA may be characterized as an award that simply is, it comes with age. Growing in age is truly a humbling yet enriching experience. It is a time when you realize that while the race may not be over, the finish line is already at your line of sight. It is a time when you pass on the baton, slow down, and let the younger ones pass you by to continue on with the race. And importantly, it is a time not so much for a winner's triumphant celebration, but more so one of gratitude. Allow me now to express my gratitude to all who have made this award possible. First, to Mansmith and Fielders, the company responsible for creating this award's recognition, not so much as a marketing award, but more so as an advocacy. Receiving such an honor actually diverts its focus away from the awardee and spreads the recognition to all who have benefited from the awardee as mentor. To illustrate, as an analogy, when one recognizes the existence of the sun, we do not as much recognize its heat and its brightness, but rather the light that it shines, allowing us to see the beauty of the world around us and how this beauty grows. So thank you, Mr. Mansmith and Mrs. Fielders, more personally known as Mr. Josiah and Miss Cheeky. for this recognition and for the opportunity to continue on with the race, though at a slightly different track. Thank you, Joe and Chiki. Di na kaya ng powers ko. I had to use granny glasses. I actually have a printed copy of the speech, but sabi ko, dapat looking young, I should read it from my phone. Di ba? Second, to all the 7 companies I have been fortunate to be a part of in my long and exciting career in marketing and in general management. I've been through 5 multinational companies, starting with an early brand management career at Procter & Gamble, and 2 Filipino companies, the last of which, URC, or Universal Robina Corporation, having a multinational presence. I did have my share of bosses in these organizations, but it would be difficult for me to single out specific mentors. So what I've done is to generalize the multinational from the Filipino companies. So to generalize, my stint with multinationals like P&G, Kraft, and Coca-Cola provided me the discipline and structure to compete in the market with confidence, backed by years of experience of these multinationals. However, it is in these Filipino companies like RFM Swift and URC that provided me the freedom and the creativity to launch my own new products, my own inventions, so to speak, like Swift Mighty Meaty and C2 Green Tea, brand names I have christened myself, and both of which I have their own stories to tell. So to all these companies, I say thank you. Third, to my former mentee, Chay Cruel, now the Vice President at Asia Brewery. Chay is responsible for nominating me for this award, and together as a team, we launched C2 in October of 2004, when he was only 26 years old, and I about 20 years his senior. It was always a thrill to work with Chay. His ideas are as wild as mine when I was younger. And my 20-year gap of experience provided the strategic discipline. He would always claim that C2 comes from his initials, Chay Cruel. Please do not believe him. Just another one of his wild ideas. In 2006, Chay was part of the first batch of Young Market Masters awardees, primarily because of the successful launch of C2, which by then had become URC's largest selling brand, eclipsing the traditional snack brands of Chippy and Piatos. Also in that year, I had been assigned as an expatriate in Indonesia as GM of PT URC Indonesia. Chay, on the other hand, had made bolder decisions in his career and his life. He became smarter and joined Smart, and eventually Asia Brewery, and had gotten married. We have parted ways, but have always kept in touch. In 2016, Chay too was the Agora awardee for marketing management, only 3 years from when I received mine, making him the youngest awardee in its history before he was even 40. Is Chay following in my footsteps? I am proud to say he has exceeded mine. This makes my analogy of the sun so appropriate. The MMA diverts the attention from the heat and the brightness of the sun and shines its light that the beauty of the world may be seen and may be seen to grow. To you, Chay, congratulations at maraming salamat. Now, part of the guideline for this MMA acceptance speech was to cite difficulty in mentoring or to cite difficult mentees. Thus, I then will cite my most difficult mentee or mentees. So the fourth, my children. I have three, and they are the most difficult to mentor. The difficulty does not lie in the mentees alone, but the mentor as well. It is not so much the personalities, but the relationship. All my three children are now in marketing careers of their own, but none, as in none of them, started that way. In fact, each of them deliberately chose not to start in marketing, primarily and precisely because they say, I was already there. Even at the very start of their careers, they chose a different path and have politely declined any help from me. For example, my eldest, Angela, is currently marketing manager for Robinson's Supermarkets. But she started her career with public relations. I was surprised by her decision because I knew she was the quiet and shy type. Yet she told me that she chose PR precisely that she may force herself to break out of her shell. And break out she did. Angela moved on to retail as head of Camisetas Jakarta business. She, at only 26, was negotiating with mall owners in Jakarta, and with the little Bahasa she knew, was able to negotiate and open 5 more stores in Jakarta. She likewise returned to Manila in 2009, even a year after our family actually returned from my expatriate assignment. Back in Manila, she started her small cake pop business until the Gokongwei Group invited her to join the supermarket team. She likewise have received 2 Marketing Excellence Awards in 2 consecutive years in the JG Summit's annual Pride in Performance Awards. I too was a recipient of these Marketing Excellence Awards in the last 3 years with URC, since it was only invented at that time. Is she following in my footsteps? She is young and have many more years with the JG Summit Group. Siguro i-nominate ko na lang sa Young Market Masters before mag-overage. My second daughter, Beatrice, is the assistant brand manager for San Miguel Pale Pilsen. So, wag mong kwento yung sekreto mo kay Chay, ha? ABI yan. But she started her career as account executive in Leo Burnett Black Pencil. She moved on to being marketing manager of Tourism Malaysia, satisfying her thirst for travel. With no brand manager at Pale Pilsen, she is pretty much responsible for the brand itself, one that truly is challenging, being an iconic brand yet faced with new challenges. It was she who recommended bringing back Ina Raimundo as endorser for Pale Pilsen's Sabado nights. I remember arguing with her on her choice of endorser. Sabi ko, matanda na si Ina. Kasabayan ko pa yan eh. But she insisted, and she had proven me wrong. The revival of the Sabado Nights campaign has resulted in a resurgence for the old iconic brand to, surprisingly, younger market of men. Oh well, I guess men will be men at whatever age. She has just returned from a brainstorming session with the Kirin Beer Group in Japan, and I'm just thankful that she is back here to join us tonight. My youngest, my son Miguel, has just completed his master's in marketing at Auckland University of Technology and is still there looking for a job. Likewise, he did not start in marketing, but also as an account executive at PC&V, an advertising agency. He also moved on to sales with Selecta before leaving for studies at Auckland. Will he likewise follow in my footsteps? Will all 3 of them follow in my footsteps? Well, there is, however, one thing that they can never beat me to. For at a very young age, I achieved this feat. None can beat my record, for at age 26, I provided my parents their first grandchild. All of them are now beyond that age, and I am still waiting to do my apostolic duties. Somehow, one's objectives change as we age. While many parents will take pride in having children to follow in their footsteps, I've always encouraged them to create their own paths, with the knowledge that I will be by their side. They need not follow my footsteps, but rather be comfortable with the fact that my steps will be beside theirs. Mentoring your own children is most difficult because of the unique relationship of being an objective teacher and a loving father. It is a delicate balance, which I realize works well too with those at work, particularly the marketing people and my students at the Ateneo. The marketing people of URC, and more so my students, are already as young or even younger than my own children. Nevertheless, despite its difficulties, it is always a joy and an honor to be working with them. So to my children and my students, thank you for the difficult but enriching experience. The fifth and last, but certainly not the least person to thank tonight is my own mentor in life, my wife, Cynthia. She has taught me the 4 Ps, not of marketing, but the 4 Ps of mentoring. First is patience. She would always remind me when I am unable to control my temper or my emotions, "Oh, ayan ka na naman, yung Spanish blood mo yan eh." Second is perseverance. Despite all the difficulties, she is there to encourage me to continue on. And finally, the great balance of knowing when to push and when to pull back. Mentoring is such a balance of these 4 Ps: patience, perseverance, and knowing when to push and when to pull back. To you, Cynthia, salamat. So again, truly this night is a night of gratitude, and I'm honored to be part of Rafi, Rene, and Gina here tonight. And to you all, thank you, and have a pleasant evening.